Water defines the Philippines, not just as geography, but as a fundamental essence of national existence. This is a nation carved from 7,641 islands, where the ocean is both provider and predator, a liquid highway connecting communities and simultaneously threatening their very survival. On December 20th, 1987, this delicate balance would be catastrophically disrupted in one of the most devastating maritime disasters in human history. The story of the MV Doña Paz is more than a maritime accident. It is a profound narrative of human vulnerability, institutional failure, and the razor-thin line between survival and absolute loss. To understand the Doña Paz tragedy, one must first comprehend the extraordinary geographical complexity of the Philippines. This isn't just a country with islands, it's an archipelagic civilization where water is the primary artery of human connection. Imagine a nation spread across 300,000 square kilometers, with terrain so fragmented that traditional land-based infrastructure becomes nearly impossible. In this landscape, maritime transportation isn't a luxury, it's an absolute necessity of human survival. Before modern infrastructure, before extensive road networks, these vessels were more than transportation, they were lifelines, floating communities that carried not just people, but dreams, economies, and entire social networks. The 1980s represented a period of profound economic transition for the Philippines. The aftermath of the Marcos era, complex political restructuring, and significant economic challenges created an environment where every journey represented potential economic opportunity. These ships weren't just modes of transportation, they were mobility platforms for an entire generation seeking economic advancement. Each vessel represented a potential pathway out of rural poverty, a connection to broader economic possibilities. Sulpito Lines, founded in 1972, emerged during a period of minimal maritime regulation. The company operated within a business environment that prioritized economic efficiency over stringent safety protocols. This approach would have catastrophic consequences. The Doña Paz was technically unremarkable, a standard inner island vessel constructed in Japan. Officially rated for just 1,592 passengers, she embodied the maritime engineering standards of her time, but within her design lay crucial vulnerabilities that would prove fatal. Multiple design limitations existed, such as limited escape routes, minimal fire suppression capabilities, and inadequate emergency response infrastructure, but these weren't unique to the Doña Paz. They were systematic issues across the Philippine maritime transportation industry. The passenger manifest was a microcosm of Philippine society. Each traveler represented a complex narrative of aspiration, struggle, and interconnected human experience. The passengers included rural workers seeking urban employment, students pursuing educational opportunities, families reuniting during the holiday season, overseas workers returning home to visit family, traders connecting economic networks, medical patients seeking specialized treatment, and young professionals pursuing career advancement. Each life a universe of potential, each journey a testament of human resilience and hope. The Tablas Strait represents one of the most challenging maritime corridors in the Philippine archipelago. Narrow passages, complex underwater topography, unpredictable currents, and limited visibility create perpetual navigation challenges. In this environment, every maritime journey represents a complex negotiation between human skill, technological capability, and natural unpredictability. Margin for error is minimal. Consequences of mistakes are potentially catastrophic. The collision wasn't a random accident. It was a catastrophic convergence of multiple systemic failures. The MT Vector, an oil tanker carrying 8,800 barrels of highly flammable petroleum products, was operating with profound systemic negligence. Petroleum-based fires represent a unique combustion phenomenon. Rapid spread, extreme temperatures, toxic fume generation. In an enclosed maritime environment, survival becomes statistically improbable within minutes. In extreme threat scenarios, human psychological responses defies conventional understanding. Collective shock, mass disorientation, overwhelming fear. These create survival challenges beyond physical limitations. Of the 4,386 passengers and crew, only 25 survived, a survival rate of less than 0.5%. More than a maritime disaster, this was a generational catastrophe. The passenger manifest of the Doña Paz was a living cross-section of Philippine society in the late 1980s. Each ticket represented a complex narrative of human aspiration, economic struggle, and personal journey. The passengers were not mere statistics, they were living stories of hope, survival, and potential. Consider the demographics. The average passenger was young, approximately 25 years old. These were not just travelers, but a generation carrying the hopes of families, communities, and a nation in transition. Inter-island transportation in the 1980s was the primary mechanism of economic mobility. These ships were not just transportation, they were social elevators. Each journey represented a potential transformation of individual and family economic status. In Philippine culture, maritime travel represents more than physical movement. It is a spiritual journey, a rite of passage. Families would gather at ports offering prayers, sharing hopes and fears. The Tablas Strait is not just a geographical feature, it is a maritime challenge. Narrow passages, complex underwater topography, unpredictable currents and limited visibility create a navigational environment where human skill and technological capability are constantly tested. In this environment, every maritime journey is a complex negotiation between human skill, technological capability, and natural unpredictability. The margin for error is microscopic. The consequences of miscalculation can be total and absolute. Communication technology in 1980s maritime transportation was primitive by contemporary standards. Radio systems were inconsistent, navigational tools were basic, and real-time tracking were nearly non-existent. Each journey was essentially a voyage into potential uncertainty. The maritime environment of the Tablas Strait is notoriously complex. Seasonal monsoons, unpredictable current patterns, and sudden meteorological changes create a navigational environment that demands constant adaptation and supreme professional skill. The Doña Paz was not just traversing a geographical space, she was navigating a complex maritime ecosystem where human ambition, technological limitation, and natural forces converge in a delicate, potentially fatal balance. Each nautical mile represented a negotiation between human hope and environmental challenges. Collision is never a singular moment. It is a complex sequence of failures, a culmination of multiple systemic breakdowns happening simultaneously. On the night of December 20th, 1987, at approximately 8 p.m., in the darkness of the Tablas Strait, two vessels would become instruments of unprecedented maritime tragedy. The MT Vector was not merely a ship, it was a floating testament to institutional negligence. An oil tanker carrying 8,800 barrels of highly flammable petroleum products, operating with a minimal crew, without proper navigation lights in a restricted maritime zone. Her crew consisted of only 13 personnel. Her navigational equipment was severely compromised. Her safety protocols were effectively non-existent, and her cargo had highly volatile petroleum products. The physics of maritime collisions are counterintuitive. It's not about the moment of impact, but the complex energy transfer, the instantaneous redistribution of massive kinetic forces. In this case, two vessels, one a passenger ferry and one an oil tanker, which would become instruments of total destruction. The first contact would have been deceptively subtle. A momentary shudder, a slightly metallic grinding, then catastrophic structural failure. The Vector's petroleum cargo would become an instant, all-consuming weapon. Petroleum-based fires represent a unique combustion phenomenon. Unlike standard fires, these are not merely chemical reactions. They are instantaneous, total energy transformations. Temperature spikes can exceed 1200 degrees Celsius within seconds. In an enclosed maritime environment, fire becomes more than a chemical process. It becomes a living, consuming entity. Oxygen limitation, confined spaces, multiple fuel sources. Each element transforms fire from a phenomenon to a sentient, destructive force. Human survival response in mass disaster scenarios defies conventional understanding. Collective shock, along with mass disorientation and overwhelming fear, create survival challenges that transcend physical limitations. Within minutes of a petroleum fire's initiation, survival becomes statistically improbable. Toxic fume generation, extreme heat, psychological shock. The human body has minimal defense mechanisms in such environments. Instantaneous transformation. One moment, a normal journey, the next, absolute chaos. Fire everywhere, screams, impossible heat, no discernible escape route. The Doña Paz was more than a shipwreck. It was a profound rupture in the national psychological landscape, a moment that would redefine maritime safety, institutional responsibility, and collective understanding of human vulnerability. The ocean, vast and indifferent, had become an instrument of unprecedented destruction. This was not simply an accident, it was a comprehensive systematic failure that exposed multiple layers of institutional negligence across maritime transportation, corporate management, and governmental oversight. Beyond the immediate human tragedy, the Doña Paz disaster represented a profound economic disruption. Thousands of potential economic contributors were suddenly erased. Entire family economic networks were fundamentally destroyed. The Doña Paz disaster transcended a maritime accident. It became a collective psychological wound for the Philippine nation. It exposed systemic vulnerabilities, institutional failures, and the fragility of human existence.